And welcome to the stage, Dan McKee.
Hello, how are we? Are we well? Hello, my name is Dan McKee. It's an absolute pleasure for you to have me here this evening. Do you know, I saw the most wonderful thing on the way in. I noticed the police had put up an anti-begging poster. Had a picture of a homeless woman on it. And above it read, "If you give this woman money, she will turn it into drugs and booze." I thought, excellent. Makes it like a really cool Jesus. Hello, like I said, my name is Dan McKee. McKee is Northern Irish. It means the son of Hugh. Not quite as interesting as some of the surnames out there, of course. You've got Cooper, which means barrel maker. Weaver, which means maker of cloth. And, of course, Thatcher, which means destroyer of the mining industry. But I'll tell you a bit about myself. I have a condition called Asperger's syndrome. Anyone heard of it? Yeah, a few people. Type of autism. Means I'm socially awkward, I have problems communicating, and I find myself becoming obsessed with fictional worlds I can define the boundaries of. The technical term for it is socially disabled. But personally, I prefer the term science fiction fan. And of course, my one great love is Doctor Who. Anyone a Doctor Who fan here? Yeah, oh, excellent, good. Love to see you all out of your bedrooms. I suspect we've met online. But no, I learned a lot from watching Doctor Who when I was younger. I learned it was okay to act eccentrically. It was okay to dress how you wanted. Unfortunately, I also learned that the way to meet women was to abduct them off the street and lock them in your special blue box. Some lessons, perhaps, but having Asperger's means I've got a very logical, very rational approach to life. I have a tendency to take things at face value. Metaphor and simile have always been lost on me. As such, I've always had problems with song lyrics. I remember when I first heard John Lennon's classic song, Imagine All the People. Imagine all the people, John. I was there for weeks. A much better song for the autistic would probably have been Imagine Some of the People. Preferably no more than 5. But having a mind like mine means I've had 3 major disappointments with how I thought the world was and how the world has actually turned out to be. And I will list them for you now. Disappointment number 1. My occasional table is permanently a table. Disappointment number 2. The television series Cash in the Attic is a rather dull antique series. Rather than I had thought, the tale of a man slowly being driven mad when former Australian tennis player Pat Cash moves into his attic. Glad we agree. And disappointment number 3, the most upsetting of all. Man-sized tissues are not, in fact, the size of a man. I was distraught about. But having a mind like mine, this very logical, very rational approach, means I've always had problems with slang terminology, especially recently. One that is a constant bugbear for me is the constant misuse of the term literally. I once heard it used in the context of the sentence, I then literally had to walk up these stairs. I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but I've never had to walk upstairs metaphorically before in my life. And this has affected everything in my life, including my relationships, my dating. My love life has always been fraught, because along with my Asperger's syndrome, I've also got an attendant symptom called echolalia, where I have a tendency to repeat what people say to me back to them under my breath, which has led to me having a sex life you could describe as sarcastic for all concerned. But I'd gone out for a date one night. We were out on a date, and the girl I was with, she turned to me and said, "Oh, Dan, do you want to come across the road and meet my new flatmate, Dan? Dan, you'll love him, Dan. Dan, he's a legend, Dan. Dan, he's an absolute legend." And I turned to her, I said, "You mean to tell me your flatmate's a legend? You mean to tell me that a rich oral tradition has sprung up about his character? That his tale has been retold throughout the years in a variety of mediums? Currently appearing a substandard version of BBC One on 7 o'clock on a Saturday?" And then I thought about it, and I thought, actually, do you mean that? Or are you about to tell me that he drinks a lot, smokes a bit, and turns up on Facebook looking wacky? Well, and I met him, turned out she's sharing a flat with King Arthur, so bit of a no-score draw there. But you've been lovely, guys, you've been lovely. And I think I'll leave you on this thought. I think I realised a long time ago my mind didn't work like other people's when I encountered the Buddhist mantra, first there is a mountain, then there is no mountain, then there is. And I thought, I wonder if these people have confused philosophy with blinking. I've been Dan McKee, thank you very much. Good evening!
Excellent stuff. Right, well, we whizzed through that, didn't we? I'm genuinely impressed. Well, what happens now is there's an interval, about 10-15 minutes, and we can grab a drink, nip outside for